The city of Solara lived and breathed to the sound of a single, steady beat. The tick. It was the sound of the heart gear, a mechanism so vast it formed the city's core. Upon its intricate brass tracks, a clockwork sun and a fleet of silver moons glided, bringing it perfect, predictable rhythm to the days and nights. But lately, the tick had been tired. It was slower, more of a deep thrum than a crisp beat. The brass sun took a little longer to rise, and the nights felt a little colder. A strange, fuzzy gray substance, like dust and cobwebs made of nothing, began to appear in the corners of rooms and in the gears of small contraptions. They called it the static, and it brought with it a peculiar laziness. People would forget appointments, lose their train of thought mid-sentence, and stare blankly at the beautiful, complex machinery that ran their lives.
In a small workshop, cluttered with the city's forgotten treasures, Kit paid little mind to the growing lethargy. She was a tinkerer, her face perpetually smudged with grease, her fingers nimble from fixing things no one else had the patience for. While the city's leaders, like the elderly Master Helio, put their faith in modern, silent light crystals, Kit found magic in the whir and click of old machinery. One afternoon, while salvaging parts from a junk heap, she found a small bird-like automaton with a broken wing and a silent core. Taking it back to her workshop, she carefully replaced its mainspring and polished its copper plating. With a final twist of a tiny screwdriver, the automaton whirred to life. Its head clicked, its gears spun, and it looked at Kit with curious crystal eyes. Kit named him Cog. That evening, the great sun track illumination ceremony was held. Master Helio stood proudly before the populace. "The old ways of gears and oil are behind us," he declared. "Our future lies in the clean, silent power of the ever-bright crystals." As he spoke, the crystals lining the great sun track flickered, buzzed, and one by one went dark. A collective gasp swept through the crowd as the heart gear's beat slowed to a painful, groaning thump, thump. A wave of static, thicker than ever, rolled through the square. People looked around confused, as if they'd forgotten why they were there. Master Helio stared at the dead crystals in horror. The modern solution had failed. The city was grinding to a halt.
While everyone else stood frozen, Kit felt a surge of purpose. In her workshop, Cog was frantically clicking and whirring, using its own gears to point at a loose floorboard. Beneath it, Kit found a hidden compartment containing a heavy, leather-bound book. It was a forbidden manual, filled with intricate diagrams of levers, pulleys, and gears, the forgotten language of the city's heart. She knew what she had to do. "Cog, we're going in," she whispered. With Cog perched on her shoulder, Kit entered the maintenance shafts, a winding, dangerous world behind the city's polished facade. The air was thick with static. Their first obstacle was a massive, 20-foot-tall gear that had slipped its track, blocking their path.
It was impossibly heavy. Kit's eyes scanned the chamber, landing on a long, sturdy metal pipe. A lever, she realized. Wedging one end under the gear and using a smaller, fallen cog as a fulcrum, she put all her weight on the pipe. With a groan of protesting metal, the giant gear lifted just enough for them to squeeze past. Deeper in, they reached a chasm. The bridge, a heavy counterweight system, had collapsed. The main counterweight lay useless at the bottom. The manual showed a diagram of a pulley. Finding a long, discarded chain, Kit looped it through a series of overhead hooks. Cog, small enough to fly across, secured the other end to the counterweight. Kit pulled, but it was too heavy. Remembering the diagrams, she created more loops, weaving the chain back and forth. With each new loop, the weight felt lighter. Finally, with a steady heave, she raised the massive counterweight, and the bridge slowly lifted back into place. At last, they arrived at the chamber of the heart gear. It was a cathedral of clockwork, a sight so grand it took Kit's breath away. But it was almost completely still, its magnificent brass form choked with thick gray static. The gentle tick was gone, replaced by a deep, final groan. Kit saw the problem at the very center of the mechanism, the escapement, a delicate, star-shaped wheel that regulated the heart's beat. Its teeth were clogged solid with static. It was too high to reach. Looking at the surrounding machinery, Kit saw a series of disconnected gears. If she could engage them, they would spin a maintenance platform and lift her to the core. Cog clicked and whirred, reconfiguring the gears on its own body to show her the sequence. A large gear, then a small one to increase the speed, then another to transfer the motion. Racing against the final thumps of the dying city, Kit heaved the gears into place. With a shudder, the system connected, and the platform began to rise. As she reached the core, she began to clean the escapement with her tools, scraping away the sticky, energy-draining static. Just as she cleared the final tooth, a voice called out from below, "Child, what are you doing?" It was Master Helio, his face pale with fear and awe. "Saving us," Kit replied, not with anger, but with focus. She gave the great balance wheel a gentle but firm push. For a moment, there was only silence. Then, a clear, crisp tick. A pulse of golden energy erupted from the heart gear, vaporizing the static in the chamber. The great mechanism began to turn, slowly at first, then with gathering confidence. Tick, tock, tick, tock. The rhythm of life had returned. Back in the city square, the brass sun began to glide smoothly along its track, bathing the city in a warm, brilliant light. The static evaporated like mist in the morning sun. People blinked, shook their heads as if waking from a long, dull dream, and looked around with newfound clarity.
When Kit and Cog emerged from the shafts, they weren't met with scolding, but with cheers. Master Helio stood before her, his fear replaced with a deep respect. "I was wrong," he said, his voice echoing through the now bustling square. "The future cannot be built by forgetting the wisdom of the past."
Kit was named the first keeper of the Heartgear. She didn't work alone. She opened the old workshops and, using the forbidden manual, began to teach a new generation of tinkerers. Solara found a new rhythm, a perfect harmony of old clockwork and new ideas, all running to the steady, comforting beat of a heart that would never be forgotten again.